You're listening to The Sports Fix.
Portions of the Sports Fix brought to you by Harry Buffalo. Catch every UFC pay-per-view live in full HD at Harry Buffalo North Olmsted, just outside Great Northern Mall. Harry Buffalo. Join the herd.
Sports Fix listeners, don't wait all day or all week to get in on the fun. The party doesn't stop when we go off the air all week long. The Sports Fix social media sites are your one-stop shop for all things Cleveland sports. Jump over to Facebook.com/TheSportsFix, Facebook.com/TheSportsFix, and become a fan today because we love fans and they create some of the best sports talk in town, Daddy. You'll enjoy talking to your fellow Cleveland sports fans on the Sports Fix fan page. And if Twitter's your thing, well, you know how we do it. Tweet with us at TheSportsFixCLE. It's that simple.
Twitter.com/TheSportsFixCLE, baby.
Chat live with the crew during all your favorite Cleveland sports events, tickets and contests and trivia and so much more. Get with us today, The Sports Fix on social media, Facebook.com/TheSportsFix. Tweet with us at TheSportsFixCLE. Join the Sports Fix on Facebook and Twitter today.
Hey, it's Hugh Hewitt, and when I want to know what's going on with the Cavs, the Browns, and the Tribe, I tune into Sports Fix.
Live in Ohio, it's time to get your fix. The Sports Fix.
Indeed it is. Welcome in. Time to get your fix. Time to kick off another week. Time to kick off a historic week here. A historic day, one way or the other. I mean, even if it doesn't go the way many of us feel that it's going to go today, it's a historic day. It's the first college playoff football national championship as 4 becomes 1. Buckeyes, Oregon Ducks tonight. We're going to talk about it here. We've got predictions and previews. We'll get your takes on it and more as we lead up until that one. Plus a ton of great things to talk about from over the weekend. Some incredible football. Just incredible football played as, speaking of becoming 1, they're getting closer to that in the NFL. 8 becomes 4. There are only 4 teams remaining, and who thought one of them wasn't going to be the Denver Broncos. And Peyton Manning, a lot of questions there. We're going to talk about that here today. The Cavaliers, I'm going to talk a little bit. I'm not going to kill myself today on that deal because it's Buckeye Monday, baby. But man, what is up? We'll talk about it. Even though I get it, I know it's early. I know that they're missing a significant player. I get it, but man, there's more than that afoot. This is beyond the diva stuff. That has nothing to do with any of that. Man, I just saw a team that did not try to win yesterday. They didn't try. I mean, to me, I just saw no effort. None. Oh, primarily on the defensive side of the ball. But there's more. As they would say, there's some trouble afoot at the Circle K, man. And I'm not doing gloom and doom, as I said. And we're not going to do a ton of this, but I do want to talk a little bit here. Maybe we'll just do it in the first segment before we get rolling too heavy with this about the Cavaliers as they drop them both over the weekend and again yesterday, ugly fashion. But we've got Cavs, we've got NFL stuff, we've got maybe even a little bit of Browns in there. I don't know, not a whole lot to get into. It's Buckeyes and Ducks. Dan Wismar from the Cleveland Fan, he's going to be here. As I said, we're going to break it down, preview it, look for some MVPs. I'm going to talk to Dan not just about, who may be the MVP of this game if Ohio State wins, if the Ducks win, but, a lot of times in big games, it's usually the unsung heroes that tend to step up big and end up getting the recognition. So who may one of those be for either side? I'm going to see if Dan's got any thoughts on that too. You guys as well. We've already got several calls on the hotline here this morning. I've got the call out for takes and predictions on tonight's game instead of sitting around and waiting on hold and trying to get through on the show. If you want to hit us up anytime here during the show, leave your take on the hotline. We'll play them as we go. We're going to open up the phones live as well for some of you guys as we talk Buckeyes, Ducks, Ohio State, Oregon tonight in the national title game. A lot to get into. Let's rock and roll and do it. I'm J-Rock. Welcome in to the Sports Fix. I'm your host, the big daddy on the microphone. J-Rock, Jerry Myers, all of that. Doing the thing. Hopefully you do it with us every Monday through Friday, live at noon across the Sports Fix Radio Network. As I said, maybe that means you're enjoying the show live on TuneIn and TuneIn's radio app, worldwide on Spreaker and Mixler, their digital apps. Maybe you're enjoying the show live 24/7, you know the home base, the one-stop shop, thesportsfix.net. Or perhaps you're one of the thousands around the world who listen in various time zones. When we say 24/7, we mean 24/7 around the world on digital delay. Places like iHeartRadio, the world's largest internet radio provider. Many of you enjoy the show on SoundCloud and Spreaker and iTunes and all the different places, CarPlay, places that you may listen to the show, feed the show, subscribe to it, however you get it. Thank you guys so much for making us a part of your day, your week, your sports talk universe, and you make up the Sports Fix universe. I say it all the time. This is your show, baby, so use it. Pick up the phones, give us a call, 216-539-7535, 216-539-7535. Make sure you got a prediction on the game tonight. Let me know where you're at with the playoffs. Did Des Bryant catch that ball? Cavaliers, all of that. We want to hear from you. 216-539-7535 is the number to call. If you can't get through, hit us up as always on our social media, Facebook. Just search for The Sports Fix or directly find us, facebook.com/The Sports Fix. Tweet with us at The Sports Fix, CLE, and you can email us, thesportsfix@AOL.com. Guys, we're going to get rolling here on the show. As I said, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time, but I do want to just get into what I was just, since I'm kind of already got it going a little bit there, talking about the Cavaliers. First thing I saw as I looked down, I opened up the chat room here. Sometimes it takes me a few minutes to get the chat room open over there on Mixler, MIXLR, by the way, if you're ever looking for that. But the first thing I noticed there, I see without LeBron, yes, absolutely. As far as what Bruce just said in the chat room about not having LeBron, that is a different, obviously, aspect. You have to take that into effect. But man, I believe, I'm just saying, guys, you guys watch the same games that I'm watching here, see the same things that I see. I know everybody's got their own unique perspective of looking at it, man, but I think it goes beyond that. Now, obviously, that's not just adding a player to your team. I mean, clearly we're talking about one of the better players in the NBA. Obviously, that's more than just a guy that's missing. And it's not just him that's missing, too. I mean, you're going to add Shumpert as well within a week or two to this thing, which is going to be a significant defensive uptick. But, I don't know. Did these guys this weekend almost feel to you like they have the same attitude of what we just said? Oh, everything will be all right once, LeBron gets back. Once we add Shumpert here. Once, you know what I mean? We're okay right now. And maybe that's the right mindset to have. I understand that you can't micromanage day by day in an 82-game season like that, and that's part of the healthy way to look at it. But their play on the court almost strikes me as they're playing as if they believe that themselves. I mean, it's one thing to get yourself through, and I understand all the coach speak that goes in that, but I mean, just very lackadaisical. Last night, I mean, that effort, and I get it, you're not getting some of the calls, and play the game, but there was one, and I like Timothy Mozgov, by the way. I do like him. I like some of the grit that he's brought defensively a little bit, but man, let's back off the words rim protector a little bit. Last night, did you guys see the play? Was it Cousins that missed the little bunny from the elbow, and Mozgov's under the hoop? Or was it who was it? Oh goodness, Rudy Gay, I believe, went up one-handed right over him and just stuffed it right back and knocked Mozgov out of the way. It was violent coming down on the back end of the one-handed dunk, and I'm just like, that rim was not very protected right there, man. I mean, I'm just saying, you guys. you know where I'm coming from? It almost strikes me like they are playing as if they're just waiting for a hero, waiting for LeBron to come back. Then everything will go back to normal. Everything will be right. We'll start winning games again. And, while they were playing better with LeBron, obviously, than they have been since, this streak is getting bad here. Do you realize that since, and again, I don't want to go down the gloom and doom trail right now today, but do you realize that since David Blatt got the dreaded vote of confidence from David Griffin, that he hasn't won a game, and that it's just gotten worse and worse as far as the appearance and the scores? These aren't just, hey, man, these games. Now, I'm not going to say they're not all blowouts. They're not. But they're not all coming down to the wire. That's for sure. This game was over at halftime yesterday. The Kings had time to pack a lunch, sit down, enjoy it, pack the dishes up very nicely, make sure they didn't get any ants on anything before they loaded up the car and went home. That's the way they treated the Cavaliers yesterday. And this is a team that came in 6 games under 500 in the Sacramento Kings and just playing 500 ball at home. So, it's not like the the next sentence I go is going to go into some more. It seems like David Blatt steps, and this isn't his fault, but what he said yesterday just kind of stepped him right into the next little thing that people are going to go crazy with. His comment about how Kevin Love's not a max player, when I believe he was just playing semantics as far as the numbers. I don't believe he meant that as a slight. Maybe he did. I don't know. But regardless, when you have what they still have, you should be able to beat the Kings, or you should not get blown out by 20 points by the Kings either way without LeBron James. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what I saw this weekend, a team that can just give you that we're just barely there. They put 15 points. They come out in the first quarter and they play boom. They played well. I don't want to say they played great, but they played well. It was basically a tie game at the end of the first quarter, shooting halfway decent. And then, bam, you come out and the next 3 quarters, you drop a 15, a 20, and another 20-point quarter and get ran out of the building. It's the effort. It's not the wins and losses that I'm talking about here. It's not the woe is me. I'm not sitting here talking about, and this has nothing, what I'm talking about now has nothing to do with LeBron James. That's a totally separate thing. This isn't even my usual, because he's not playing. He is not a part of this. He cannot in any way be faulted. And I don't mean that he's faultless on the season. In this, he's not putting the effort out there. He can't control that. Nobody can. David Blatt can't either. But is there, it just leads you to wonder, does he have the team in general, and David Blatt, and I like him. Hey, I thought he was a good outside-the-box reach for coach here. Maybe I did use the word reach there. Maybe that was a Freudian slip that I just said, because it was. It really was an outside-the-box pick. It was something that was going to be high risk, high reward, and I think the Cavaliers knew that. And, hey, I think if the Cavs knew the way the summer was going to go, they may have made a different choice, but maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe that was, what they wanted to do. But, either way, when you see how they play last night, look, we're not talking about, LeBron's not listening to David Blatt in the huddle, or, boy, he's talking a lot to Tyronn Lue. Forget about all that stuff. I'm talking about this weekend, these games without LeBron in there. Sure seems to me like there are just long stretches of time where there's no effort. And I know cohesiveness. You could definitely see where guys are not used to playing with each other. But even that's not the excuse. They've all picked up a basketball and gotten 5-on-5 on the court before, So they all know the tenets of the game. Yesterday, it was like they were sleepwalking. It was effort. It had nothing to do with anything else. It's like they were sleepwalking. Guys were just fumbling the ball around, especially if you remember in the third quarter when they really started to pull away Sacramento. There was, even when the team would grab a rebound, the guy would bring it down, drop it off of his own knee and lose the ball, fall on the ground. They're rolling all over the place. They looked like just a bunch of uncoordinated guys that have never played basketball together, and that bothers me. That's worrisome for the future. Yeah, you can add a great player to the team. LeBron's going to come back. You can add Shumpert. That's going to pump things up. In the East, it's going to pump things up a little bit, but those underlying things are still going to be there. And I agree. David Blatt, to me, Bruce just made a great comment. I mean, there's a reason that everybody to a man that's ever played for this guy recommends him and speaks